Okay, everyone, here's Nicholeen Peck. She is the representative for Tooele.
Look how cute that.
And that is a lovely office. That is a well-adorned office. You got the black and white, the black
She's
and
got
white going on. That's what Katie would like.
She's got a gorgeous painting that she commissioned herself right behind her desk, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Can you show?
This is a different office, but yeah.
Oh,
isn't that beautiful?
Oh, nice. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
That is.
What do you mean it's a different office?
Well, I'm not at the Capitol.
You're at home, but that's the original, the OG, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you got to get home on a Friday night. Well, I know we don't have a lot.
Not for last Friday. I didn't get home till like 10 p.m. But this Friday, here I am. So excited.
So I didn't tell exactly what the bill was. I just said it's regarding our education and Planned Parenthood. I would love to give you the floor. And this is your bill, and you're already taking a lot of heat off of it from the left. And I love it. I'm here for it. So please share.
Yeah, I've actually been taking heat on a couple of bills lately. but we'll just talk about
You have a lot as a freshman.
I do. I think I have the most of any freshman. Not any freshman ever, I'm sure. I'm sure there were others that have done way better than I've done. I'm not going to put myself on that little pedestal, but of the freshmen that we have right now, I am the most familiar with the process because of all the years of advocacy work and working within that system and knowing how it works, what comes next, and what to do. So I wasn't as lost as a lot of people might normally be when they come into a new situation like that. That doesn't mean I haven't had any moments of being lost. I mean, you just sit in your first appropriations committee and go, like, what happened? anyway,
Not to mention the tunnels that are under the Capitol. I mean, literally lost. I'm just glad you were there.
True. Yeah. So the Salt Lake Tribune apparently just really wanted to give my bill some attention this week. So that was nice.
I thought they fired Brian Schott. Why are they coming so hard against Logic? Do you hear he's filing a lawsuit against you guys?
Like, what do you mean against you guys? Against me?
Or against the government because he wants to be a government journalist again.
Okay, but we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Okay,
kudos, though, Brian. Well done.
Way to go on that information. Okay, so yeah, I mean, basically, I should probably just start with the story of how this all began. This bill, it's called. It's like just school curriculum amendments is kind of, just a plain old name, but because it's going to change the way some of the curriculum's done at the school. But I'm not necessarily targeting Planned Parenthood, although Planned Parenthood in their article that they did at the Salt Lake Tribune, I mean, really it was a feature Planned Parenthood article that was a target at my bill, basically. Is what the article was, but they even claimed in their article, they're like, for what we know, we're the only ones who this bill targets. And the bill basically says that if you're an elective abortion provider, so I'm not talking about any old doctor and nurse who is going to do women's health or anything else, but an elective abortion provider, or if you're funded by an elective abortion provider, then you can't teach in the schools, in Utah schools. And the reason why is because we actually have in code already language that says that you can't advocate for abortion. Well, if we are bringing in curriculum from abortion people, if we're bringing in people who work with an abortion company, with an elective abortion provider, if an elective abortion provider who makes $15 million in a year on their abortions and such is in a school who really has, I'm not saying they're nefarious in targeting the children. I'm not even going to say that. I'm just saying that it doesn't look great for the schools to be allowing someone who makes monies off of teens getting pregnant to teach about sex ed, right? Like that just doesn't seem like a conflict of interest.
Yeah. And to be fair, our state actually it's not just abortion. They don't teach a lot of things. They teach abstinence, and they'll teach contraception. My daughter just got her paper that I had to sign, and I was reading through what the law is. And I didn't know that a 501c3 could be given front row seats to our kids in curriculum.
Well, so see, this is another thing too, that you really have to, I mean, even though they're a 501c3, so you could say they're a nonprofit, they're a charity, they make a ton of profit. And if you look at even their own reports that they put out for people, I probably got it here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Anyway, if you look at their own reports that they put out, I mean, they list where they make their money. I mean, so their abortions, this was in 2023, I guess, 2,123 abortions, I mean, that's a
Is
lot
that
of
Planned Parenthood nationally or just?
Oh, this is just Utah. Yeah, this is just the Utah. This is just Planned Parenthood of Utah.
What if we just had the polygamists come and teach sex ed instead? How would Planned Parenthood feel about that? If we sponsor, we'll have the polygamists come in, and they can, here's where you cut the hole in the sheet or whatever they do.
Okay.
But
I don't even want to go there. I don't even know
why
what
not.
that is.
Why not the University of Utah Health, or why not somebody who actually?
Okay, well, so let's talk about the facts. Okay, let's talk about the facts. So you probably read the article, right?
Yes.
You read the article.
I did not. So Holly can refresh me.
Well, she'll refresh
later.
I was gonna show you the page where it shows the earnings. I've got to find that.
I will share the article on.
Anyway, so there's a page that lists the earnings, but it's like, it's like $15 million a year or somewhere around that 14 something, it's high, almost to 15 kind of a thing. Anyway, I'm not finding the page right in front of me. It's probably
that's okay.
That's okay. Tar and feathers.
Yeah, but anyway, so this is what they do. But then they also have a whole page that talks about their education programs that they work on for education. And so it says, through our research-based education programs, we work to provide all Utahns with the accurate, reliable information. Who declares it accurate or reliable? That's very interesting. I mean, that's just a self-proclamation right there.
Well, and also,
responsible.
Let me ask this. Let me ask the common sense.
What does that mean exactly? And to make responsible decisions. That's kind of like interesting language, because decisions has a lot to do with abortion, doesn't it? Anyway, and contraceptive and whatever and different things. In 2020, so they're saying that's what they're working on. In 2023, our educators continued with innovative teaching across Utah, virtually and in person. Program participants were 6,387. And here's your elementary school, middle school, high school. Anyway,
hold on. Hold that back up, because the elementary school one had a comma.
Yeah,
elementary school's till 4th grade, right?
No, 5th.
No,
Out here.
Yeah, 5th
and then
or
6th.
5th and 6th. Okay,
yeah.
6th grade.
Usually, I mean, some of them are 6th, some of them are 5th. Depends where you live.
So they're starting to teach the little ones. Anyways, isn't it kind of weird that we're relying on someone to teach a program that, if they were successful, would be a negative impact on their
own business
bottom line?
Well, okay, so the thing is too, there's so many angles we could take with this. But the point is this. In the article, they said, hopefully you guys can still see me if I go and look at the page where
you froze, but we can hear you.
But in the article, they claimed, oh, can you? Okay, good. They claimed Rep Peck might think the purpose of her bill is to punish Planned Parenthood, which is not true at all. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just protecting children and trying to look out for their best interest, not creating a conflict of interests within the school, not creating putting a person in a position of trust that would create a future relationship that could lead to financial gain and ideological grooming. Okay? And anyway, it says, but others know the real impact will be felt by the parents of nearly 80,000 Utah students who, if her bill becomes law, will no longer have the option to provide their kids with age-appropriate sex education classes taught by our trained teachers. Okay, remember what they said in their thing? They said that they taught 6,387 participants in their program. In the Salt Lake Tribune, they said that the impact will be felt by nearly 80,000 students. So that's a big inconsistency there.
Are they talking about the teachers they trained under their curriculum to teach?
No,
health?
I haven't looked up how many students we have in the state, but maybe that's like their target market, or maybe that's like a percentage of the students they hope to hit, or
what
whatever,
if it's just the Tribune making up some crap like they tend to do all the time?
What do you mean?
So anyway, I mean, we could digest a lot of different things in that article that are not actually show that Planned Parenthood does have a plan in mind, because they said, let's see, they said, would you feel comfortable teaching these things? And then they said, it's really only us. We're the only ones that do this. It's 80,000 people that will be impacted by this, which isn't accurate information, which makes it sound like, to the people who read that news article, that Planned Parenthood is the only person teaching sex ed or health or maturation or anything in Utah schools. And this just is completely false.
Well, and they're making it sound like you're ending sex ed in schools. And that's ridiculous. They're making it sound like we'll no longer have access to that.
Yeah, so the actual number is, according to the State Office of Education, that there are 4 districts in the state. Out of all of our districts and LEAs, there are 4 who actually use Planned Parenthood services. And when people are calling me, you have no idea how many emails this article created, emails and calls and all the things. And, me and my intern, it's like a part-time job trying to, answer all of those. Anyway, but I talked to this little woman on the phone, and she's like, this is going to be terrible. She was, probably an elderly woman. She said, my parents didn't tell me anything, about sex, and my children all had this. And I kind of laughed, because I thought, from what age it sounds like she is, there's no way that her children actually did have this in their classrooms. They might have had some sort of a health or sex ed program, but they didn't have probably Planned Parenthood sex ed program in the school. And I explained to her, I said, ma'am, it's going to be okay. Like, don't even worry about it. It's going to be fine, because there's only 4 districts in the state that are utilizing this. And I don't even know if it's every school in those districts, because according to the number, that would have to be pretty small districts.
What districts are there? Are they? Is Tooele County in there?
I don't actually have the names for you. I could get them, but I don't have them right now. I think I know one of them, because the whole thing started in a district where I was visiting one time about a few years back. Anyway, but so I said to her, but it's okay, because all of these other districts and all of these other schools are teaching sex ed according to the state law, and they're doing a great job, and that's not going to stop. And there's lots of curriculum that's been approved by the State Board of Education that meets state law, and that would not put our children in a position where they're having to trust a business with their sexual health decisions, and looking to them as, someone who has their best interest in mind. And I'm not saying that the teachers who teach with Planned Parenthood don't have the best intentions, because they probably do. They probably absolutely do. And I'm sure they're wonderful, nice people. But the way that this whole bill started for me was I was at a school, and it was not in Tooele County. Okay. I was at a school, and when I was there was a person from Planned Parenthood who was teaching at the school, and I was very intrigued. In fact, they were handing things out, and I could probably show you some of the things they were. Oh yeah, here's one of them that they were handing out. Anyway, so they were teaching in the school, and I went up to the teacher, and I said, "So, how did you get to be here?" And she said, "Well, that's easy. Every year, Planned Parenthood contacts every school in the state of Utah, and we ask them if they want us to come teach, because we know that some of them feel like it's really touchy to teach that," which goes to the first part of that article. Could you do this? Could you do this? Well, we can, right? But you don't have to. We'll take away that burden for you of talking about touchy subjects that
We're the
no
only ones
adult
who
should be
can.
afraid to talk about, especially adult children like me. I would never be afraid of that. Uh-oh. I think my connection has a problem.
We still hear
Okay.
you.
I think my
You just
connection has
freeze
a
once in a
problem. Did you
while.
hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I probably should have switched my internet
Nothing to be
connection.
sorry about.
Anyway, so yeah, so then she said, "Yeah, we just have to get permission from the principal, and then we can come teach." And I was like, wow. And during this particular teaching that I witnessed, she was actually saying that someone was asking about children acting out sexually on the playground, because this school had a lot of special needs kids in it. So they had a lot of neurodiversity and stuff like that. And they were asking about some of these neurodiverse kids acting out on the playground sexually on each other. And this teacher was like, "Well, it's okay, because that's perfectly normal for their age group," and stuff like that. And so they were normalizing a lot of things that I was like, okay, wait a minute. We're not supposed to advocate for these types of things. But she just said that's okay. She didn't do a big lesson about it. She just said that's okay. So sometimes the language that can be used, and I don't know all the language that's going to be used, because I haven't seen every presentation they've ever done, but it was enough that it made me very concerned. And then they handed out this pamphlet here, and you can see the logo on the back there. Anyway, and this pamphlet is meant for children, and keeping in mind this was targeted toward disabled children.
What grade? Like 5th or 8th? Was this the maturation training, or was it the sex ed training?
No, this would be more like 8th grade, but
Or
not
7th. Sorry. 7th.
No, wait, hold on. It was the school itself had a variety of ages in it, and I believe they had 5th through, so it might have been a middle school, so they probably had 5th through and up. So, but it would have been for children that were kind of neurodiverse, because it says right on it. It says, this is what it says. It says, "A sexual decision-making guide for persons with developmental disabilities and those."
What does it say at the top? What's
Okay.
the headline on that?
"We all have special feelings."
Okay.
I'm just going to read you a couple of things, okay? And I hope this is not. I hope you don't get like censored or something. Okay.
Do we need to cue some 70s heavy bass music or anything while you do it?
I don't know. Change my voice. I don't know. Okay, so it says, this is what it says. It says, "All people need to be loved and touched. Around the ages of 12 to 14, young people may begin to develop sexual feelings. Touching ourselves can feel good. Touching or being touched, loved, and cared for by others can feel good too. Sexual feelings make us want to be touched, loved, and cared for by another man or woman."
An adult.
Those last little words.
And we all know that. Well,
and then it says
that.
And here's the little picture. Anyway, and then it says sexual feelings are normal and healthy. And then it goes on. There's a picture over here, and it says, "All people have sexual thoughts and feelings. Mothers, fathers, teachers, doctors, friends, neighbors. So great. Now we're going to think of all the adults in our lives as sexual people. It says, you may have sexual feelings when another person touches, hugs, or kisses you. So now I could feel sexual about my parent, my teacher, my whoever. Okay. Because if they
They've
care
only
about me or they
mentioned
touch me
adults
or they
so far.
It-
They haven't said other children or people your age. They have literally said man, woman.
adult. Right. And so, and then on this page, it says, this is where, if you have to bleep me, I mean, just go ahead. But it says,
We're not
well,
that
then there's
fancy.
this when they're having a little kiss. Okay. And it says, kissing and hugging feel good. You could want more touching. Sometimes, if they both want to, a man puts his penis in the woman's vagina, and this is called sexual intercourse. Kissing, touching, hugging, and having sexual intercourse are things we do in private. Deciding to kiss or touch, hug, or have sexual intercourse should be something you both want. Let's just unpack that, shall we? So what we're doing right here on just this one page, little page 3, okay, is we are saying that people like to be touched. True, they do, because that's a love language, okay? And so if you like being touched and you think it feels good, you may want to have intercourse. And intercourse, touching, kissing, and hugging are all the same. And we should do all of them in private, which sounds like they're keeping children from acting out in public. That could seem nice, but it also could be that they're having them go and hide
well,
sexual
it could also
activity.
confuse them so that if Corky,
And to do it with adults too, because we've just
So
talked
quirky.
about adults.
no, so what they're doing is they're making it so they hide it. So if Corky gets touched by old man Smithers down the street, he's not going to tell the appropriate people, even though Corky may or may not be 12 or 13. And old
Because
man
it's
Smithers,
natural and it's private.
yeah, because they confuse them and they don't say, look, there are appropriate times for this and appropriate ages and appropriate partners. And old man Smithers is not an appropriate partner. And you should consult your parents before you do anything like this, Corky.
Instead, the lesson is, if you consent, it's okay.
No,
So then
not
it goes
when you're that age.
No, but that's the message. That's the
Right.
message. So if you consent, and then they go on to, and keeping in mind, this is targeting disabled people between the ages of 12 and 14. And it said, and then it goes on to say, do I really want this to happen? Sexual intercourse can make a baby. This is a big decision. Have we talked about it? Have we talked about birth control? Have we talked? That's advocating for birth control. The
Which is
law
against
says
the
you're not
standard.
supposed to advocate for birth control. So anyway, and then it says there are people you can talk to about these questions. So it does list adults you can talk to, and then it says, how important sexual feelings are to be
What
acknowledged.
adults do they list?
They did list mother and father. They
Okay,
did.
good, good.
Yeah, they did. Minister, mother, father, minister, counselor, caseworker, or staff, neighbor, or just a friend.
So talk about it with staff. Talk about sex with your
let's be
teachers and your
A
staff.
little discerning with neighbor.
Hey, they hit all the boxes though. They did say consent.
Yeah.
So that's probably in their checkoff list. All over. I mean, this is terrible, but at the end of the day, it's a conflict of interest.
And these are handed out to parents too, by the way, because on the back it says discussion tips for parents and educators. And so that's how I got one. They were made available to the adults, but they're teaching the adults to teach these things, to the children. So anyway, this is the issue. So that's what I had that experience a number of years ago. And for multiple years, I was like, I've got to get a bill. I've got to get somebody to run that bill. I've got to get somebody to run that bill. And there were a lot of other issues that I kept working on. And so it just didn't really materialize. But I knew that once I got in, I was like, you know what do I know needs work? Right? What do I know? And suddenly this came back to me. This needs work. I know that. And that's something I've known for a long, long time. And so did some up-to-date research, and we found their own admission to all of the things, and we and the thing is they're proud of it, because they even have mentioned it on the Salt Lake Tribune now. Yes, we do this teaching. We're awesome at it. We want to do it. But the sad thing is they're making people think they're the only ones that do it. And if we remove them from the teaching pool, we don't suffer any loss whatsoever as a state.
Can I ask how many other private business, private 501c3s are in our schools teaching our kids?
I don't know if I can answer that question for you.
Because this doesn't sound logical.
Does sound
Why wouldn't
normal.
we have healthcare professionals?
Well, there are some groups, probably like Stop Child Abuse Utah. They probably they teach in the schools, and I don't know
my daughter's in health
status, but they might be 501c3. I would think they are.
But I'm saying, and then how many 501c3s in this country get federal funding from people who do not believe in them or believe in what they do? Our state says you can't teach birth control. They're trying to encourage abstinence. Also, in at least the standard that I'm aware with, they don't give you an example of how to put on certain devices and things like that, which would horrify any 7th grader to have a teacher do that.
Certain devices.
Like a contraception.
Oh, prophylactics.
Yeah. And this again is where parents need to step up, and they need to have this open communication with their kids. At the same time, not all parents do that, and teachers that do step up, it's so important that they're taught exactly sex makes a baby, and here's the reproductive system, and this is essentially what it is.
We have to be super careful as we're teaching too, Holly, that we don't say that if you get a baby, it's bad.
Exactly.
Because actually that is just a social construct. That whole idea was actually perpetuated by the abortion movement to say, if you get a baby, it's bad. Why are babies bad? Babies are not bad. Having a lot of responsibility as a young person is going to be hard. But what we've done with the abortion movement, actually, even the contraceptive movement to some degree, I mean, I'm not going to spend my time on a soapbox about that, but
we have talked about that too.
Yeah, but we've made it so that people do not think of consequences before they make sexual decisions anymore. And these types of trainings, and I'm not saying that they go to that level. I'm not even saying that. They may teach everything that is just fine according to law. They may, and that's great if they are. However, we should not, because there might be other 501c3s, like maybe Stop Child Abuse Utah, but they're never going to sell our children a thing. They're never going to sell them the thing. They're never going to be a person that you want your child to turn to pay for a medical procedure.
Right. They don't profit off of your children's
I don't know anybody else that does that. That's not going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't, the math's not mathing, and we absolutely need something. If they want to, if the people want to revise sex ed in this state, revise it. If there's something you want your children to be taught by a third party, then that needs to be revised. But Planned Parenthood should not be in our schools.
Yes.
It doesn't go with.
If a parent wants
logic
to seek out Planned Parenthood education for their child, they can go down to Planned Parenthood. But on a side note, man, I've been investigating how to build like a 30-foot tall trebuchet. I'm wondering, just a thought.
It's a the thing is Planned Parenthood is reaching children all over the world, the nation, and the state, even without the schools. So yeah, they'll have to double down their efforts to try to reach them in the libraries and stuff like that, because they are constantly doing library things. Planned Parenthood will do private events at libraries for for like teens, and they'll say no adults allowed, no parents allowed.
That's
And
not
they
a
will,
red flag or anything.
and they will do like a sex ed training in there. Anyway, so, and I know because I know someone who went to one of those. She looks like she's about 15, but she's actually a mom. And she went to one of those, and, and it was very interesting, the report that she gave. So,
So when they make the deal with the devil, like you hear the old stories, they used to be the witches had to kiss under the tail of a goat.
Okay.
I'm wondering what deal they had to make. Like, is it bathing in blood, shedding lizard skin? What is it?
Nicholeen, how can we help?
Yeah.
What can our listeners do? What do you need? Because I know you're hearing a lot of bad, but if people want to read
there's
your
a lot
bill,
of people who agree. This is what happens with bills. If you want to read the bill, it's HB 233. That's the number of the bill. So if you'd like to read it, you can go to le.utah.gov, and you can, in the search bar, type in HB 233. And then you can read the bill. It's a pretty simple bill, actually, not very complex.
Is it Utah spelled out or UT?
Utah spelled out. And by the way, the part that's really the bill is the part that is underlined or crossed out. Any of the words that are not out are not changing. So
Give me the
please
bill
know
number
that.
again.
HB 233.
233.
Yep. It's shared in the comments. We'll also share it on our website.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to share.
This is what happens is when these bills, so I've been inundated with calls and all kinds of things, and I don't know if other legislators have on the bill. I haven't heard yet, but when it starts to go to committee, it hasn't been assigned to committee yet. It's in the Rules Committee right now. And so when it gets assigned to committee, then that's when you need to send supportive emails and texts and calls and stuff to the people in that committee and tell them how much you support it. It is important because what usually happens on a bill is the only people who take actions are the ones that hate a bill. But it's so important that the people who also like a bill take action, so that we can say with confidence, we know that there's a lot of people who appreciate this. And I do know that because almost every single person that I've talked to about the bill, almost every single person has said, that's a good bill. That's a good bill.
Planned Parenthood doesn't need to be in our schools. That's just, I'm not opposed to sex ed in school. I'm opposed to teaching kids weird stuff, but I'm not opposed to sex ed in schools. I mean, I went through it. Granted, back then it was cuneiform and it was carved in stone. There was some cave
It's part
paintings,
of science.
but
should know it.
It was different. But anyways, Nicholeen,
bill.
we have to cut you loose, Nicholeen. We have our next guest on.
1 second.
Nicholeen,
when I know you are updating people constantly on your Facebook page, will you tell me what the name of your Facebook page is that you give updates on?
Yeah, I have an Instagram and a Facebook. The Facebook is going to be the one where you'll see the videos. We just posted the weekly video today. And that is Peck for Utah. And let me just look at it right now, make sure it's Peck and then FOUR Utah. So you can go there and you can follow that page. And I also have that same on Instagram. There's something else I want to tell you before I go. So I'm having a special night for Tooele County at the Capitol. Okay. So at the Capitol on Monday, February 17th. So this is President's Day, actually, and I'm guessing some people will maybe be off work. Maybe some children will be off school, that kind of thing. So that evening at 5 o'clock on Monday the 17th, I'm going to do a Capitol tour. We'll take you down in the tunnels. We'll show you all the cool stuff because there won't be things going on there. So we'll have a lot of fun. And I've got a special room arranged where we can all sit down. You can fire questions at me, tell me things you care about, like have sort of a town hall there at the Capitol and just, connect with me. So hopefully a lot of people will put that on their calendar. So show up in the rotunda on Monday, February 17th at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And me and the highway patrol and, some of the other people will be there, and we will give you just a great night. And
Do you
I'll
have
Sounds
an
great.
Do you have an ad made up for that we can share? And me and Holly will be there. I'll be there. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure
good.
Holly
Okay.
will be too. But if you
Okay,
have an ad for that you can
tell
share,
your
we'd
friends.
love to share it.
Do you know what? I will get that to you. I'm not sure we actually have made a graphic for it yet. I'll see what's in my newsletter. I don't think we made one for that. But if you're not on my newsletter list, oh my goodness, then you probably need to just email npeck@le.utah.gov, and you need to say, I want to be on your newsletter, so that you know what I'm doing every week. And then I send out weekly updates on that newsletter, as well as trying to say as much as I can on social media with the time that I've got.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. That is State Representative Nicholeen Peck, serving Utah, and kind of like a little stab into Juab. Is that correct?
Actually, that's not me. That's Bridger.
Oh no, that's Bridger. Yes, you're just
Yep.
Tooele.
She's
You're
I'm
just
just Tooele. It's
the
Stansbury, Erda,
metropolis of Tooele.
Tooele, half of Erda, half of Stansbury, and Lincoln, which is their Pine Canyon area.
Yeah, Lincoln is old school. You'd have to dig back in time. All right. Thank you very much, Nicholeen.